I appreciate y'all. Yo, hit X and change the voice to party only, dude. Hit X, change the voice to party. Oh my god!
It's time for the rise of the looter shooter. And you ask me, what the hell is a looter shooter? Well, the looter shooter extraction genre, or a PvEV game, is a game of progression, where your progress is tied to leveling up in some form and collecting new and better gear that'll give you an edge versus other players or AI for the next time you enter the arena. Some could argue that the origins of this genre are rooted in the RPGs like hardcore mode in Diablo or raids in World of Warcraft. What we do know is, Escape from Tarkov innovated this experience into an FPS, raiding maps with questline objectives to guide the journey along the way of looting and fighting other players. For some time, it was a slept-on genre, but as Battle Royale grew as tiring as Marvel releasing the same 20 films per month, and the BR scene being endlessly dominated by Apex Legends, Fortnite, and Warzone, this looter shooter genre grew prominence in 2020 when Tarkov's popularity soared with a new major update and Twitch Drops promotion campaigns. The Drops campaign timing was a perfect storm. FPS players were tired of the same old derivative takes on Battle Royale, and what seemed out of nowhere for the mainstream gaming audiences was all this attention from content creators towards a hardcore game. In short, it blew up. Dr. Lupo, Dr. Disrespect, Dr. Phil, and Dr. Doolittle and all the other doctors were playing and talking about this game. Not only did this create a buzz around Tarkov and a healthy player base for it, it created a fascination with the genre's concept, extraction shooter or looter shooter. 2023 is around the corner and we have a bunch of early access titles and others soon to be released. Escape from Tarkov, Cycle Frontier, and Marauders that are already out, either in early access or quote-unquote released, and soon to be released, Dark and Darker and Call of Duty DMZ. I would actually like to talk to you about today's sponsor, Badgersil. No, we're not. I didn't hit him up, but you never know. What was I talking about? Looter shooters, Call of Duty DMZ, Cycle, Marauders. Before I get stuck into those, I must make mention just about every AAA studio is trying to cash in on the new genre. Bungie of Halo fame are working on one. DICE slapped on Hazard Zone to their highly acclaimed and well-esteemed Battlefield 2042. Well done, DICE and EA. Well done. For anyone who hadn't played Hazard Zone, like DMZ currently, it was being hailed by the devs and the public as the next quote-unquote Tarkov Light. However, the reality was, it was a scuffed game with no VoIP, brain-dead AI, and absolutely no depth. Alrighty. Cash grabs aside, let's dive into which game's probably going to rise to the top. Escape from Tarkov will have a playbase for some time to come. It taps into the millisim gun porn simulator experience that a lot of tactical people need a game that caters to them. Slow game development seems to hamper the momentum of the game though, and with the game being a Russian game developer behind it, I have no idea if the special military operation is going to affect the development long term. We'll see what the future holds, but if you love a constant kick in the nuts, Tarkov is the game. Cycle Frontier. I was really hopeful for this game and I bought into its potential. I could go on and on about its flaws, but to sum up the user experience, a camel is a horse designed by a committee. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, well... Marauders.
We do for ourselves. We come from the darkness. We hit hard. We hit fast. We are Marauders.
Creatively bankrupt, no movement skill, no weapon skill, and it's literally Tarkov in space, with just less things, and the same old corridors. So many corridors. The only thing unique about it is the space raids, which doesn't have much depth to it. This game is the epitome of paying for a full price product, and if you critique it, its 3 fans of the game will come into your comment section and state, "It'll be good in 3 years' time of development with the community support behind it. Stop being so negative." Suck my balls. Unfortunately, have to be that guy, quote unquote, dead game. Dark and Darker. I can't sing this game enough praise. It's not out yet, and it's only in temporary alpha testing stages, but, and here's the big but, it already shits all over the mentioned titles in vision, presentation, execution, and scope. It's by a small team disillusioned by the AAA industry, and they left the big boy studios to make a game that they want to play. They even put that in writing on their website. They literally call the industry a casino. They're not wrong.
Alright, here we go. Here we go.
Honest opinion though, there would be no way that this would be like the next Fortnite in like player base size, but I definitely see this game popping off. I guess to simply put it, for the common gamer, this is like a Skyrim Dungeon Raider meets Diablo meets Tarkov meets the New York stock trade. The reason I'm excited for Dark and Darker is it felt like there was magic there already, you know? I wasn't buying into potential of another early access title that might be a functional game in like 5 years' time. TLDR. My body is ready. Call of Duty DMZ. Allegedly in development for 4 years. Okay. Well, we finally have footage after Activision held a content creator event showcasing the mode. Because that's what it is, unfortunately. It's not a standalone game or a looter shooter. It's a spin-off mode of Warzone, which is a battle royale. Now hear me out. I'm not being negative for like negative sake or like for YouTuber memes or cracking algorithms or whatever. I'm just stating what I see. In fact, I'm not even being negative. It does look like fun, but for people looking for the next looter shooter or casual Tarkov, this isn't it. It just isn't. You have a limited stash of weapons you take from rare PvP encounters or buy from XP and money earned from in-game objective. Without going into too much depth, this looks like it plays more like a co-op single player of Call of Duty. Unfortunately, I feel like this mode was a wasted opportunity to try something different or experiment, and they played it safe. No balls, Activision. No balls. None. Whatsoever. They were already going to make $1 billion, and they have with the single player of Call of Duty. And they're releasing Warzone, the Battle Royale, alongside it. So why play it safe with this mode? Or what could have been another game completely, or a game mode. Like, why play it safe? Try something. Even the Chad gamer himself, Shroud, didn't seem all that enthused about it.
I was hoping it'd be a little bit more gritty, a little bit more hardcore. It seems to be, well, COD, so, yeah. But you can't even say Tarkov but casual, because it's not even close to the same realm, you know?
Not that Shroud's the quantum metric of what is the go or what is not in gaming, but he literally got flown to an event, wined and dined, and got to play this game early before everyone else, the new DMZ mode, and didn't even smile once. So unfortunately that tells me a lot. Now none of this in particular makes this DMZ game a bad game or a bad mode. It's just not the game we were led to believe was going to come to fruition. And it sucks. I think people miss the mark on what the looter shooter is when outsiders that don't play it come in to capitalize on the genre's popularity. It's about progression. That feeling of dopamine shooting up in your brain when you successfully extract with the gear that you grinded for or an objective you completed. And you're going towards something long term. The high stakes, the high rewards. It's the hardcore vibes. Well, where do we go from here? Who will rise to the top of the looter shooter genre? Escape from Tarkov is well established, and it just has to keep iterating on itself over time to bring in players back or new players every while. Dark and Darker seems to just nail the genre and has a clear gameplay loop, and it hooks you in immediately. For such a small dev team, their efforts already dwarf other indie studios and AAA studios. They tap into the RPG and Dungeons and Dragons scene that are also looking for a fresh game. When this game releases, it could be the perfect storm. My praise for Dark and Darker and Tarkov does not mean games like Cycle or Marauders will be dead games forever, but They really have to open their eyes up to see for themselves why those games work. So, from what I've experienced, I believe Dark and Darker and Tarkov will dominate in the immediate future. They will rise as the top looter shooters in this genre. But the distant future, who knows? There could be some surprises. Anywho, I've learned a lot today, and I hope you learned something too. I hope you learned to immediately subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, follow me on this, follow me on that, subscribe, give me all your money, particularly at Patreon, because Amazon treats their content creators like slaves.
Follow my Insta, follow my OnlyFans,
Follow this,
my
follow
follow
that,
this.
Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube. I mean, subscribe if you want to watch more, and yeah, support me on Patreon because I am a starving artist. Thanks.